Mary Pickford, the girl with the curls. Her glorious locks have been fascinating audiences for over a century. In this tutorial, I am going to show you how to recreate her look in the most historically accurate way possible. I've done a number of Mary Pickford tutorials in the past. A lot of them are perhaps easier, but this look is about as close to how Mary herself styled her hair as I think it's possible to get, given modern availability of curlers and products. In the first part of this two-part series, I will be showing you how to make replica 1920s style kid curlers. These, as far as I know, are no longer available in stores, and a lot of the vintage ones are pretty worn and cracked and aged. So we will be replicating as close as possible to the historical kid curlers, both in dimension and in functionality. In the second part of the series, I will be showing you how to use these curlers and the setting pattern that Mary Pickford herself used to set her hair. More or less. So, let's get started. The first thing you will need for this project is some wire. It needs to be soft enough to be easily bendable, but it should also be firm enough that it's still going to keep its shape when bended. I chose a galvanized wire so I wouldn't need to worry about the curlers rusting if I decided to use them for a wet set. You will also need a thick craft felt. The thicker the better. Cut one 6-inch length of wire for each curler you're going to make. You may need to straighten out the wire a bit to get it to lie flat. Using a pair of needle nose pliers, carefully bend the ends back over to form a little loop. This will prevent the sharp ends of the wire from poking out of the curlers. Using scissors or a rotary blade, cut the felt into strips. Each strip should measure 6 inches by about 1.5 inches. Again, cut one for each curler you're planning on making. My hair is fairly thin, so I estimated about 20 curlers was more than enough for my hair. Now the next step is optional, but you may wish to round off the edges of the felt. This doesn't affect the performance of the curler, but it does make it look a little nicer. Fold each piece of felt in half, with the wire sandwiched in the middle, and carefully sew along the open edge. You can either do this by machine or by hand, but if using machine, I would recommend wearing safety goggles, as the needle can break if you accidentally hit the wire inside the curler. A girl from my high school lost an eye due to a broken sewing machine needle, so I'm always super cautious if I think there's a high chance of breaking a needle, and wear some sort of eye protection. Be sure to backstitch the first couple of stitches so they don't unravel and the last couple of stitches, and carefully turn the curler as you sew around the corner. final step is to trim the edges of the curlers very slightly just to make them a little neater. Again, this is purely for aesthetic purposes, so feel free to skip this step if you just can't be bothered. Stay tuned for part 2 of this series in which I show you how to use these curlers to actually create Mary's iconic curls. See you next time.